All right, let's get started. Welcome, everybody. My name is Mike Peterson, and I'm the founder of Science and Design, which is an educational and marketing platform that helps the design industry understand its role in improving the health of our clients. We have a really interesting session today. We'll be offering a reprise of what we did at April High Point Market, where Science and Design, along with several of our certified designers, uh, gave the keynote address at April High Point Market. But before we get to that, I have a few announcements I want to make. We've added a few things for the second half of the year that I'd like to share. First, remember, if you're not getting my monthly newsletter, just go to the website, scienceanddesign.com, and sign up for the newsletter. We also recently added two pillar pages, one on neuroaesthetics and one on biophilic design. And pillar pages are essentially an exhaustive analysis and look at those subjects. And we put them up to hopefully act as a bit of a library for all of you. If you need information on those subject matters, you can turn to those pages for some answers. Okay, upcoming August 13th, we will welcome Trisha Patel, Jenny Fisher, and Roxanne Darling will join the Science and Design webinar to talk about art and the positive impact it has on our minds and bodies. All three of these artists are steeped in the knowledge of neuroaesthetics and biophilia, and their work reflects it. Trisha is also a graduate of our Science and Design certification program. On September 10th, Kay Sargent, Director of Thought Leadership Interiors at HOK, will talk about the hidden ways interior design shapes human experiences. Her influences, this is really interesting. Her influence spans advisory roles with Delos, IFMA, and ASID, and she was recently honored with the 2025 ASID Luminary of Distinction, and she's recognized as a top 50 global FM influencer. Kay does indeed remain at the forefront of creating inclusive, impactful of work. And I just signed off yesterday on our webinar for October 8th. It's not on the website yet, or it's not in Eventbrite yet. But on October 8th, we will share the work of 5 different certified designers who will talk about the neuroaesthetics and the biophilic principles they used in creating those projects and designs. So you'll see more in a couple of days. Now, a big announcement. If you didn't get my newsletter, then you need to know that some exciting stuff for October Market. We will own the stage at the Suites of Market Square on Saturday afternoon. We have 3 straight seminars starting at 1 o'clock. The first is Designing for Human Health, the Power of Industry Collaboration. We'll look at how manufacturers and designers can work together to advance human-centered design. Mark Phillips, the chairman of Phillips Collection, Ryan Rancino, vice president of sales at Cristorama, and 2 Science and Design certified designers will just talk about how they can better collaborate to forward the issue of neuroaesthetics and biophilia in product design and in industry marketing. Right after that, we're going to do a reprise of our August webinar where Roxanne Darling, Trisha Patel, and Jenny Fisher will actually be displaying their art surrounding the stage at the Suites of Market Square. And they'll be talking through how art benefits human health. And lastly, at 3 o'clock, we have a marketing and messaging science panel. Erica Sorit of Sorit Creative and Jennifer Smiga that I work with in all of my social media marketing from the Ultraviolet Agency will share proven strategies for positioning your brand and effectively reaching today's evolving marketplace. Now, there's one other panel that you should know about. We don't have the time yet, but Nina Lichtenstein and I will be part of a panel at the Cristorama showroom, probably on Sunday and maybe at 2 o'clock. We haven't finalized that yet, but just know that we'll be talking about neuroaesthetics and lighting in the home. Okay, that's enough with the announcements. Now, for the rest of the webinar, we'll be joined by Gabrielle Kuzik-Ju from Mindwell Design in Toronto, Kat Blue from Blue Lantern Studio in Atlanta, Devin Sigmund from BSB Design in Charlotte, and Carrie Ann Moscatello and Zena Nahas at Trio Design in Denver. So let me start. I'm going to share my screen first. And where'd my share go? There it is up there. What I want to do is start with a mood setter. And I want to be sure, hold on for a minute. I'm going to get rid of these guys. Son of a gun. Guys, we actually practiced this a week ago. And now I'm the guy that's messing things up. So hold on. There's my buttons. All right, let's set the mood. I love this room. We feel so good here. You know, it's what your clients have been telling you for years. When a space is right, truly right, something shifts in the body. As creatures of nature, our brains have evolved to seek beauty. The need is actually hardwired in our DNA, encoded in us as an essential part of our humanity. And science now has a name for what you have been doing all along: neuroaesthetics. The study of how beauty, like the beauty you create, impacts the human mind and body. You now create health. It's a stunning shift that elevates the status and perception of our industry. You think about the tools you already reach for: fractal patterns, the geometry of nature itself, repeating in ferns, shorelines, the grain of wood. These have the power to reduce stress levels, organize complexity, spaces that are rich and layered, but never overwhelming. Our brains were built for exactly this. Dappled light, the light that filters through leaves, drifts across a wall, and breathes with the day. It alters the mood. It anchors us to the rhythms of life from ages ago. These are not new. The science of today has simply learned to measure how they affect us. The future design of our industry is born in science. The spaces you design lower heart rates, reduce cortisol, release and ecological well-being. You prescribe health with the beauty you create. Science now considers you to be an alternative health resource. Let's own it, internalize it, and rise to meet it. Welcome to your future. Welcome to the future of design. All right, well, hopefully that sets the mood for this next hour. Let me start with a question. Do you create beauty? If you answer yes, do you know that you also create health, just as we said, that you extend life with what you do? In just the last, 8 or 9 years, we've seen a seismic shift in the home furnishings and design industry. We're not just designing for attractiveness and aesthetics any longer. We're designing for the purpose of creating health. It's a stunning shift that elevates the status, perception, and very importantly, the profitability of the design industry. Now, to better help us understand our subject today and the words that our designers will be using, I want to go over a couple of key principles. Now, many of you already know what these words mean, but for those of you that are newer to the subject, I just want to do a quick review. Biophilia. 10 years ago, virtually no one had heard of the term biophilia. Today, it's commonplace in our industry. It means our love for nature because we are nature, and we actually forget that. Biophilic design is the process of incorporating nature into design. Neuroaesthetics. 5 years ago, no one had heard of neuroaesthetics. It has already gained such importance that we were asked at Science and Design to provide the keynote presentation at the April market. Neuroaesthetics is the study of the immediate environment and how it impacts our minds and bodies, for the good or bad. Specifically, it studies the impact of beauty and nature. What I also want to do is introduce a couple of terms that you'll hear mentioned frequently today. Our minds seek out organized complexity. I mean, after all, think about it. How boring is a straight line? It doesn't become interesting until we give it movement. Complex elements, but carefully organized, attracts our minds, because science now knows our minds have evolved to be the perfect example of organized complexity. One of the most important biophilic principles is fractals. Fractal patterns are extraordinarily important. Fractals are self-similar patterns over a range of magnification scales. They're continuous, consistent, and similar geometric images. Fractals are found in ferns, snowflakes, waves in the ocean, and tree canopies. Fractals replicate nature's geometries. They've been documented, listen to this, they've been documented to reduce stress by up to 60%. One of our faculty members is Dr. Richard Taylor out of the University of Oregon, who has actually conducted the research on that point. Fractals appear throughout nature and even in our own bodies. Think about veins in a leaf and the veins in our bodies. Prospect and refuge. Prospect focuses on the perception of long distances, sometimes even the distance across a room. And refuge focuses on enclosed spaces that provide intimacy, protection, and security. Think of a window seat with a view to the outside, or even at a restaurant and a table against the wall with your back fully protected, but with a view to the rest of the room. And dappled lighting. It replicates the light filtered through the tree canopy, the shadows and the movement of light through the day. It creates a visually dynamic effect, enhancing textures and colors. It evokes a sense of warmth and intimacy in a space. All right, those are some of the terms that you'll hear mentioned. What I want to do now is introduce the family we've designed the home for. That was very, very well thought out. And one of the designers that couldn't make it today, Marie Cloud, was primarily responsible for developing the profile of this family. So we want to give her a shout out and a thank you. Two of the things we focus on at Science and Design are evolutionary inheritance and cultural influences and how they impact the environment we live in. So it's important to understand the universality of neuroaesthetics and why our design team today created the health benefits they did in this home. Evolutionary inheritance gives neuroaesthetics its biological grounding and built-in aesthetic preferences. While evolution provides the baseline, culture actually refines and diversifies aesthetic experience. Cultural exposure shapes taste. What counts as beautiful in music, art, or faces varies widely across societies, races, and ethnicities. Now, we treated this as a universal family of four, but we've added the value of creating rooms for an African-American family, which for this exercise gives us an even greater understanding of how neuroaesthetics can be applied effectively. All the science-based principles you will see demonstrated apply universally. We're talking about a family of four. The parents are in their late 40s, and they are professionals. Teenage daughter is somewhere between 15 and 17. The younger son is between 7 and 10. We incorporated additional design guidelines. I mean, Marie was extensive in providing the details of a full lifestyle. We talked about lifestyle and daily rhythm, personal interests and values, and the family's core design motivations. I'm going to stop my share now. And Devin, you're up.
All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Devin Sigmund. I'm the National Director of Innovation here at BSB. So with our innovation lab, we partnered with Science and Design to also develop the floor plans for this, along with a couple of the spaces. So it was a really great opportunity for us. We took a proven model home plan, originally designed in Sacramento for a regional builder, and kind of revised it from there to reinterpret, not reinvent, but take that plan and layer principles of neuroaesthetics and biophilic design inside of it as you go through. So if you'll bear with me here, we have a pre-recorded video. I'll try to get my timing along with, right? First thing that happens as you enter the home, as you're greeted by the kind of full array of neuroaesthetic principles in the central atrium. I'll get into the specific techniques we used in that space shortly, but the first impression is an immediate visceral reaction to this design ideology. Kind of openness presents an axial view through the home, allows you to survey your surroundings, both for navigation as you enter and even potential threats as you might have from your primitive areas of your brain. This ability to have that broad perspective paired with the neuroaesthetic design principles included in the atrium provide an immediate sense of calm and relief as soon as you enter the home. We placed a powder room just off that main entry, and you're guided around or even through that central space to experience the home. Moving past the stairs, the glass-lined hallway becomes more an experience rather than purely circulation. We passed the study here. We've reimagined it as a neural nook. I'll look at more closely as well. And then we'll move here into the central living core, where these spaces are open here in the central living core with the kitchen, dining, and sunroom. But we've tried to give them an intentional definition in an effort to maintain a balance between the open connectivity, but still provide separation to reinforce the important acts of ritual that you'll find yourself performing in each room. Then off that great room, we'll have a private corridor leading to the primary suite, creating a clear transition into a more quiet, retreat-like zone. That suite's oriented toward the rear yard for privacy and views, and is an example of the neuroaesthetic principle of prospect and refuge, which we'll speak frequently about today, but especially as architects, one of the principles we can affect so much in the use of the floor plan. This primary bath here includes a freestanding tub and a walk-in shower, large double vanity, creates a more spa-like experience. And at the end of that bath, you'll find a walk-in closet. Moving back toward the front of the home here, we got the owner's entry. It connects directly from the 3-car garage with the laundry room located adjacent to that. And at the front of the home, we have a second bedroom with its own ensuite bath, which provides flexibility for guests and multi-generational living. But in this case, we've designed it especially for the family's young neurodivergent son. So we've got some special spaces included in there for him, like a listening cove for his musical passions and separate homework nook for focus. Next, we'll move up the stairs to the second floor. And as you arrive at the top of those stairs, you enter the lounge. It's a central multi-level space that becomes the heart of the second floor. Functions both as a gathering space for pulling that family together and close with that conversation pit. It features a refreshment area and a designated reading nook. It also functions as a second level circulation hub, but reinforces the vertical connection to the level below with the windows to look down into this atrium space. And also from here, from this lounge space, you are right off the bedroom suite here that's been customized in this project for a creative teen daughter, and a full wellness retreat for optimum health on the other end there. And then we can actually start to dive into our other spaces that we took on. Let me adjust back here from trying to time with that video.
Devin, that can't be easy to try and time with the video.
It took a little bit of practice. Hopefully, I followed along well. But we'll move on to the atrium space here. There we are. So coming back here to the atrium, it was inspired by the Japanese tea gardens or Roji concept. And that acts as a physical and spiritual transition space between the kind of outside world and leaving that behind and entering a space of reverence. Some of the primary neuroaesthetic principles you'll see with that we've incorporated are most immediately the visual and material connections to nature with the inclusion of natural elements and materials. We have non-rhythmic stimuli incorporated with the flicker of the fire and dancing reflection of the water. Not only serves the atrium, but we'll move into the home as well. The fountain also introduces the principle of the presence of water. We have a non-visual connection to nature through our other senses, present in the natural material textures, sounds of the water and crackling fire. We've got the calming scent of lavender, invitations also to put your hands in the soil in the garden. We have thermal airflow variability created by the open air space, varying material temperatures that you'll come in contact with, and heat from the fire. From a design language standpoint, we're relying on a few shapes and compositions derived from the natural world to include biomorphic forms, and patterns with some fractals in there. So we get an emotional response to color through the use of blue tiles and the green vegetation because we evolved to recognize these colors as food and water sources. This activates our parasympathetic responses, which slows the heart rate and promotes relaxation. Having the open space exposes us to natural light, which assists in the development of circadian rhythm. There's so much research out there about how important sleep is to health and longevity. So that's kind of assisting in that process. Also boosts your synthesis of vitamin D, which is vital to hormone regulation and cognitive functions. Studies show that being in a space this open can also promote abstract creative thinking, stuff like that. So you'll notice curvilinear shapes within our spaces informed by the sine wave shape. And those remind us also of the calming and meditative properties of water, waves, and ripples and things like that. Soft edges help to reinforce the sense of calmness. All ties back into our ancient limbic system and the ancient brain that reduces our activation of the amygdala, which is responsible for that primitive threat detection I was talking about earlier. By focusing on natural materials, kind of produces a opportunity for grounding exercises. Variation in those natural materials provide different tactile experiences. The somatosensory cortex of the brain processes touch, temperature, and pain, but it's also responsible for creating the physical feeling of an emotion. So by activating these areas intentionally, we kind of add another layer to reduce those stress responses. We also have an opportunity here for a variety of live plants in the space, specifically including lavender in this one for aromatherapeutic effect. Scent receptors are tied directly to the amygdala and hippocampus of the brain. So lavender has been shown to increase serotonin and dopamine transmitters to the brain, promoting relaxation, other health benefits tied to reduction of cortisol, like combating depression and boosting the immune system. Having this convenient opportunity to garden provides a close connection to nature, shown to be of therapeutic activity. You can develop passive mobility exercises, and you're growing food at home, which promotes a healthy diet. Some studies even report that the physical contact with soil can expose you to good bacteria that can also trigger a release of serotonin. So we're really proud of that. I think it's a beautiful space. And then right across the hallway from that, we move into this study, or what we're calling the neural nook, kind of reimagining what a study should be. Some of the primary principles you'll see in here are the visual connection to nature again. We have the frame views that orient you outward in this smaller, more focused space even. We're utilizing biomorphic forms and patterns, reinforcing that sense of softness and organic structure rather than rigid geometry. Also biomorphic are the wall covering and Feisty rug we've selected, delivering layers of complexity and order through subtle repetition and the branching patterns up there. We also have a Christorama lighting fixture. It's got an organic texture and allows that space to be washed in a soft, even light. Finally, this space relies heavily on the concept of prospect and refuge. Like I said, something as architects we can affect kind of the most, I feel like. So as you enter this neural nook, the axial relationship we've developed to align the corridor entry out with this view into the yard. It also connects you back to the atrium across the hall. In this space, you'll see a lot of similar techniques that I was just talking about, kind of reinterpreted from there to this study space. We've continued to incorporate the curvilinear forms into the walls and shelving and use furniture placement to balance out some of the straight lines. You have some of the same blues and greens motif we spoke of, paired with the subdued earth tones to promote that relaxation while working. Here, we'll expect to enhance that productivity and help alleviate the feeling of burnout as we have this home workspace setting. The expansive windows also allow more natural light to wash this space, reducing the reliance on artificial light. This gives us another touch point, staying in tune with our circadian rhythm. And the varying textures here through the inclusion of cushiony surfaces give us another softer take on those somatosensory cortex emotional responses. The soft surfaces also help to dampen the sound that might be perceived as unpredictable or overstimulating. Also, the operable windows not only allow for the natural ambient light, but also the natural ambient sounds that are shown to reduce stress and improve concentration, in this case, to benefit your workflow. Some other things we've included here are a desk that allows for seated or standing work to promote healthy movement, and the ergonomic chair. But one of the biggest takeaways from this space, like I said, is the concept of prospect and refuge. And as I mentioned, this is a principle, most effective architects, and we've created these clear sight lines to embrace that concept of allowing you to view everything in your surroundings while having that enclosed space behind you to provide the refuge. Having this respite in a cave-like space while being able to have sight lines and to nature allows for a sense of decompression while being able to maintain that situational awareness. The concepts of prospect and refuge work together a lot to provide a sense of security within your surroundings, and that has to that has to initiate for that body to allow itself to accept these other relaxation techniques to take effect. So this is further reinforced here on the right. You see our cozy little reading nook, our den. So it's a quaint space under the stairs there, provided for a place of further refuge where you can get away as needed for more intentionally lowering those daily stress levels. It's got some cove lighting in there. It creates a soft ambient illumination that helps continue to keep us in that relaxed state. This concept of prospect and refuge, it all ties back into Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You have to feel physically safe before that mental safety can even begin to be addressed. So it's one of my kind of favorite things to address, as you can probably tell. But from there, move right along. I'll let Kat take control and move into their primary living areas.
All right, Kat Blue. Thank you, Devin, very much. It sounded like you had a special listener jump in there for a minute.
I think someone else did, but that's okay. I'm glad everybody's here.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar today. I like to start each session by asking everyone to take a moment to take a deep breath by taking a really slow inhale and a very long exhale. So if we can all do that for just a moment. Notice how you feel. You may feel calm, centered, grounded, more present. Imagine if you felt this way upon entering a space. So I'm Kat Blue, founder of Blue Lantern Studios, and our design studio is focused on sensory-driven, human-centered environments that connect space, behavior, and well-being. For the show house, we designed the Great Room and Solarium, a space where family gathers together. But before we designed this space, we didn't start with how it should look. We started with how it should feel. A home that doesn't just function, but supports you at the end of a full day and gently restores how you feel inside it. This home sits in Greensboro, a place shaped by nature, sustainability, and a deeply rooted creative culture. So the question became, how do you design a home that reflects that same balance between environment, art, and everyday life? What if a space could help you feel calmer without you even realizing why? From the very beginning, we focused on human experience, how someone arrives, settles, connects, or withdraws into quiet. Upon entering this space, your eye is naturally drawn outward toward light, toward nature, toward openness. And then the space reveals itself. We designed for a family that values calm, connection, and meaningful time together. A home that supports focus, decompression, and emotional balance, especially in the quiet rhythms of everyday life. Light becomes a guiding material in the space. The dappled ceiling pattern filters daylight in a way that mimics nature, like sunlight moving through trees. This rhythm reduces visual fatigue and creates a sense of calm movement throughout the space. Materiality is grounded in honesty and tactility. Wood, stone, woven materials, layered with subtle fractal patterns that repeat at different scales, something our brains instinctively recognize as calming. The goal was clarity without sterility, order without rigidity. Some of the most powerful design elements are invisible, but some are also adaptive. Airflow is intentionally designed through cross ventilation, supporting natural comfort and circulation. Sound creates a soft acoustic layer that helps the mind slow down. And scent, like lavender, can activate calming neurological responses associated with reduced stress. And visual experience is also intentionally regulated. At the television wall, sliding panels allow the space to shift between engagement and restoration. When the television is not in use, it disappears, replaced by a nature-inspired wall covering that restores visual calm. When it is needed, it becomes fully functional again. This simple act of conceal and reveal helps the space support attention and release it. Design becomes most powerful when it supports not just function, but attention itself. As the space extends outward, the experience shifts. The solarium offers prospect, open views to the landscape beyond, while elements like the swing create refuge, a sense of being held, protected, and grounded. Water becomes both a visual and sensory anchor, its movement and sound creating a steady rhythm that naturally reduces tension and supports restoration. We have incorporated materials and products from select partners whose focus aligns with our design intent around wellness, craft, and sensory experience. I think Mike's going to talk more about some of these partners later in the presentation as well. Ultimately, this space isn't just designed to be seen, it's designed to be felt. When design aligns with how we are naturally wired as humans, it doesn't just create beauty. It supports how we live, connect, and restore. And that is the true potential of design. A heartfelt thank you from myself and Blue Lantern team. All of our designs are science and design. All of our designers are science and design certified, and we're very passionate about integrating these principles into all of our work. I'll now pass it on to the next designer, Gabrielle, with Mindwell Design.
Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Amazing. So I'm Gabrielle Kozuk-Ju. I'm the founder of Mindwell Design, and today I will be revealing the main kitchen, the prep kitchen, and the dining space for this virtual show house. Before we get started, feel free to do any kinds of screen grabs or photos of the screen if anything feels like it's captivating you or moving you, and feel free to share that on social media so we can continue sharing the word. And you can also tag us at Mindwell Design on Instagram. And because we've been sitting for almost 40 minutes, feel free to stand up and, just stand up and absorb this information, or even stand up and sway, or feel free to move your body as you listen through the presentation. It does help to absorb the information differently. Okay, so let's get started. Before I show you the rooms, I want to start somewhere more personal. Picture yourself walking into your kitchen at 7:15 in the morning. The house is quiet, the light is just starting to peek through. Before the coffee, the emails, before anybody says your name, your body has already read the room. It knows whether the space feels calm, chaotic, or whether you can soften and feel at ease. So when I designed these spaces, it wasn't just about the look. I was designing for the nervous system, for how this family actually lives, for how a home can quietly support regulation, connection, and ease. So we began with the kitchen. The palette borrows its calm from nature. Deep wood tones, muted greens with bronze and patinaed metal accents. Mineral colors from Sherwin-Williams with movement and depth. I wanted the experience to feel like stepping into a lush green forest, but in kitchen form. The green stone carries a fractal veining pattern, the kind your eye recognizes from maybe branches, rivers, or even lightning. Your gaze follows it without effort. That's what creates a sense of soft fascination. It holds your attention just enough to quiet the mental noise. Beside it, I paired lighter stone with a quieter, cooler tone, almost like the stillness of water against the richness of summer. That juxtaposition creates balance in your nervous system. The star tile backsplash adds another fractal pattern, mimicking waves crashing at the shore. Then, there's the way the space moves. The island curves at the overhang, so wherever you sit, you choose your view. That sense of choice creates subtle agency. Your body relaxes when it does not feel trapped in one rigid orientation. The hood is not just a single arch, it's layered. A series of soft waves that draw you in. It gives you permission to try, to get inspired, and to cook again and again, and to feel invited back into the space. We added ruched drapery behind the kitchen glass doors, a hint of, what's behind? That introduces a sense of surprise and delight in our minds. And I really wanted the space to have contrast in the right places, stone against velvet, bronze against wood, a room that really feels refined, but also touchable, approachable. Our bodies experience temperature, softness, light, smell, all the senses. They do get experienced all at once, whether we realize it or not. Then we move into the prep kitchen. This is where the wellness becomes even more intimate and more non-judgmental. The baskets and easy access fridge and freezer drawers below add predictability to the children and reduce sensory overload. Having a separate prep kitchen helps healthy routines feel much easier to return to. The family can prioritize fresh, whole foods over packaged conveniences or Pinterest-worthy kitchen displays, and can really enjoy a calm, more judgment-free zone where if there's a little mess after cooking, it's okay. Then the mood shifts as we move into the dining space. We intentionally did not leave it fully open. Instead, we created a separation with arched opening, marble-cladded jambs, and bronze frame glass partitions. Still feel connected, but you also feel held, kind of like a hug. So people tend to feel more at ease in spaces that offer expansive visibility, looking out the window, and the prospect of some protection at your back. That sense of protection is the refuge. This makes the space tell our ancient brain, you are safe. This is an African-American family, and I did want the space to hold that context with dignity. This mural wall covering in the dining space evokes their memory and belonging. The chairs have an arched back that references carved wood forms and objects the family grew up appreciating. The wooden table brings stability and security. The fazy rug adds softness and signals that it's safe to stay underfoot. The ceiling fixture creates a dappled filter lighting like a canopy of leaves. A picture light from Krista Roma illuminates the family's first fine art piece, a small but proud moment. A different wallpaper pattern continues onto the ceiling in a more atmospheric way, pulling your attention up and around the room. Every room is asking something of us. Let's make sure your space is working for you and not against you. A space perhaps that calls for you to take a deep sigh of relief, move with less stress, feel supported, regulated, seen. One of my favorite quotes by Ty Farrow is, "There's no such thing as a neutral space. Every environment either nourishes you or depletes you." Let that sink in. That to me is where design gets really interesting. Not when it's louder, more automated, more performative, more Instagram worthy, but when beauty is doing the real work to support your health. That is the future of design I care about. Spaces that support your health, your well-being through neuroaesthetic and biophilic design. Thank you. If you would love to connect with us after this, feel free to email us and connect with us on Instagram as well. Thank you very much. And I will now pass the mic over to Mike.
Actually, we're going to go to Carrie Ann.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone. Just give it 1 second. All right, thank you, Zena. Hello, my name is Carrie Ann Muscatello. I am Design Studio Manager at Trio Design. I am speaking on behalf of our company Trio and our CEO, Angela Harris. Just to give you a little bit of background about Trio, we are a full-service interior design firm located in Denver, Colorado. We work coast to coast with primary work in builder development and in new community development work. We had a team of 5 design members on this particular project from Trio, and we were tasked with designing the primary suite and the primary bathroom. So there are 73 different design principles within neuroaesthetics, so it is very, very easy to become overwhelmed very, very quickly. So as we continue exploring these design principles, our focus will be on identifying the ones that create the largest and greatest impact thoughtfully throughout our design process. As a human-centered design firm, we ground every design decision in a deep understanding of the human condition, creating spaces that are both meaningful and extremely impactful. By understanding this human condition, we also recognize that people are ontological, biological, and creative human beings. So our goal was to create true, meaningful spaces that our designs intentionally nurture all 3, resulting in an environment that can deliver a more impactful and authentic aesthetic experience. For this project, Trio grounded the design in 4 sacred elements: earth, air, water, and fire. These foundational elements guided our design approach, creating a cohesive experience where each one of the thoughtful elements are represented and visible throughout this space. The first thing that we did is we worked closely with BSB Design, making floor plan revisions, and we removed the access door to the primary suite because we really wanted that safety and security immediately when you arrive into the suite. So as you enter into this space, you will notice we intentionally created a threshold. This is best understood by referencing the floor plan, but throughout our lives, we move through countless thresholds each day. By making them a universal experience, we connect with our uncautious level. By thoughtfully defining the transition, we create a strong sense of arrival that immediately establishes an emotional connection to the space upon entering. So as you get into the space, the very first thing that you can see is a massive picture window in this rendering. We did this very intentionally, and we blew out this window and we created a window seat. And you saw a lot of window seats in this presentation today. Because primarily we are trying to foster the contemplation, the intuition, and the imagination with this window. All of these items are very important that support the scientific component that we are trying to tie into. So you can see the fire, you can see the sight lines, and all connecting to the exterior. We are also tapping into the fractal patterning. The way we are doing this is to remind ourselves that we are biological and we are all made up of fractal patterning. We worked with the landscape architect on this project to plant that tree that you see in this rendering right in front of that window. And every time designers tell a landscape architect to plant a tree right in front of a window, there's always massive pushback. And I'm sure a lot of you have experienced this in your prior designs. But we are telling you from a designer, if you have one, there is a biological instant connection immediately to the exterior right off the bat when that tree is located immediately adjacent to the window. It is very important that these multi-perspectives and multi-disciplines are coming together for the greater good of the space aesthetically. So this is one of the first items that Trio did. We also wanted to make certain that we had a good level of visual complexity. Even though there are 73 different design principles in neuroaesthetics, we really tried to get it down to 5. Those 5 being visual complexity, fractal patterns, biophilic design, color theory, as well as the senses. So we really honed in on the tactile component, which is the feel of the materials that are getting integrated into the space, as well as the natural materials from a construction perspective. We all know design, we all love design, and design is about layering. So we have to layer those construction elements as well as the FF&E, which is extremely important for a successful project. So this next view is the vanity sake, and this really captures, one side of the primary bath and capturing that circadian lighting with some more of the biophilic design. And then on the opposite side of the primary bath, this is the water and the fire elements that are starting to be combined to have that combined experience. The water feature is intentionally open to the back side of the tub. This really strengthens that connection between the interior and the exterior environments. Again, Trio collaborated very closely with BSB to open that entire back shower wall to create that seamless transition to the outdoor space. This decision was done very intentionally for numerous reasons. It reinforces that concept of the threshold that I spoke to earlier. It embraces the biophilic design. It captures the sacred element of the water, and it supports the rituals of the rest and restoration. The sound of water flowing paired with natural materials creates a calming and immersive environment. Who wouldn't want to be in this environment on a daily basis? When designing the primary suite, our team centered the experience around one guiding principle: beauty. In neuroaesthetics, beauty is far more than a visual appeal. It has the ability to influence how we think, how we feel, and how we experience the space. So today, nearly 45% of Americans are impacted by some form of a health or mental challenge. As designers, we are responsible and we encourage us to create environments that support people ontological, biological, and at a creative level. Our goal is to all design spaces that foster the well-being, inspire connection, that enrich everyday lives. So this vision cannot be achieved alone. It requires collaboration across all of us, being architects, interior designers, landscape architects, manufacturers, artists, and visionary partners. Companies like Phillips Collection and Magpie continue to demonstrate how thoughtful partnerships can elevate the spaces that we create and that we strengthen the communities that we serve. So as we all look ahead, we have an incredible opportunity and responsibility to shape environments that positively impact people's lives. So at Trio, we are very excited to continue leading that journey through purposeful design, meaningful collaboration, and a shared commitment to creating spaces that truly matter together. Thank you all, and now I will pass it over to Mike for some final comments.
All right, you've seen all those rooms individually, and now I want to just pull together a video for you that will walk And I want to specifically thank BSB Design out of Charlotte and Devin in particular for all the work that he put into helping us with all of these tools. One of the things I want to focus on as we pull this together is the language of these designers. All of them have been certified in the science and design, so they're speaking almost at a different level. And it is the future of where we're going as an industry. The designers who embrace neuroaesthetics, biophilia, and science will define the next era of the built environment. And we want to continue to build on the momentum we now enjoy at Science and Design. We are committed to moving the industry ahead. This is the certification program. And by the way, I would invite any of our certified designers that happen to be on this call right now to just go into the chat and offer up an opinion of what you learned in science in the certification program. But we're talking about now hundreds of designers have been certified. It's an online program. It's self-paced. It's 22 classes taught only by academics, like from Penn Center for Neuroaesthetics, University of Oregon, University of Texas, Boston Architectural College. And for any of you who are in ASID, there are 13 CEUs. If you want to get more information on the science and how to be certified, go ahead to scienceanddesign.com and click on the certification. Special thanks to Angela Harris and Trio Design, Christy Galino and Ryan Rancino at Christorama Lighting, Michael Bauer at Fazy, everyone at the High Point Market Authority, Jason Phillips at Phillips Collection, one of the first big supporters of our effort going back many years. Clint Craven at Sherwin-Williams, and Jane Dagme, a personal friend who's been following this movement for the last 11 years. She's at the High Point by Design organization. Okay, let's pull this together. You can probably tell that I love this subject. It has consumed me for the last 11 years. All of us at Science in Design are seeing and feeling the momentum. The seismic shift is happening. 8 years ago, when I was first starting to develop Science in Design, I did a presentation to the Dallas Market Center. We only had 15 people in attendance. The person who introduced me didn't get my name right. We laugh about it now, and he has since become a good friend and an ardent supporter of what we're doing. Today, we average 175 registrants for our webinars. Our newsletter goes out to 7,500 subscribers. And here we are today, providing a reprise of the April market keynote that we delivered in April. The future of design of our industry is indeed born in science, specifically neuroaesthetics and biophilia. We have the opportunity for our industry to internalize these developments to create an elevated perception and a new stature for home furnishings and design. Listen to this. Dr. Douglas Wood of the Mayo Clinic, he heads up the Center for Innovation, says the future of medicine is in the home. It is in every room you will ever design. You prescribe health with the beauty you create. Science has a term for you. It has named you an alternative health resource. Can you go ahead and say that with me, starting with the words I am an alternative health resource. And we're going to end where we began. Let's own it. Internalize it. Let's rise to it. Welcome to your future. Welcome to the future of design. And on behalf of the star-studded design team and our good friends at BSB Design, I thank you. We're open for questions if you have any. Did I see any tears shedding there right at the end? That's what I was aiming for. We actually did have, in April market, we did have designers tell us that they were tearing up at the end of the presentation. So let me go into the chat. Loved it. So much information in the certification. Okay. I thoroughly enjoyed every module. We have a lot of nice comments about the certification program. I'm looking for questions that you may have on this house. It is interesting that the different designers created a cohesive whole. Yeah, we met, Leonie, we met more than a couple times to make sure we were able to provide a cohesive whole. Thank you so much. This was wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, well, listen, our hour is up right now. If there are any other questions, feel free to send me an email. I talk to designers every day, mike@scienceanddesign.com. And one last call for questions. Yeah, Chrisanne. Chrisanne says, I would say that saying a lot of those buzzwords overwhelm clients. One of the things, you're right. But one of the things that I would suggest is that everybody go into the neuroaesthetics page on our website and then download the client conversation guide. Because what we do is provide a series of questions and scenarios that you can use to avoid that usage of all those buzzwords. So we understand that we need to know the science, but we're not trying to make our clients the neuroaesthetic specialists. But the client conversation guide will give you an awful lot of help on how to address that issue. Devin, what was the rendering software used?
So we used a combination of Google Gemini, some Photoshop here and there as needed. We were pulling in some basic models from our Revit model, and we used Veris by Chaos, kind of a part of the company that owns Inkscape, to do the videos. Little combination of everything.
And where can we find the 73 principles of neuroaesthetics?
We can find that online, and we can follow up with a separate website for you all to reference as well.
Carrie Ann, why don't we do this? Can you get that for me by tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Because I always send a follow-up email, and I'll include that in the follow-up email.
Will do.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Take care now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.